So, what are the things you need to remember when selling a vacant house? Well, let's talk about it. Hey everybody, Elias Acuna here at HeSellsHouses. So I wanted to take a minute this week to talk about things you need to keep in mind when you're selling a vacant property as opposed to the one that you're currently occupying. One thing that people always forget about, or one thing that people tend to forget about, is that they still have to keep the utilities on the property that they are no longer occupying. So with a vacant house, obviously you could have electricity for the lights, the water, and then especially during the winter months, the heat. We want to make sure that the heat is on so you don't fall into a situation where the pipes actually freeze on you. Now, if the cost of having the utilities on is too much for you, you can go ahead and actually winterize the property. That way you can reduce those costs. But keep in mind, when you go to sell the house, you'll probably have to get all the utilities back on and running so that the buyer can go ahead and complete inspections. How fast things are moving these days, it's probably a better situation to just leave those utilities on as opposed to having to go through the process of shutting it down and then opening it all right back up just a couple of weeks later. Now, another thing you need to keep in mind is, especially during the winter months, that you need to make sure that there's proper access to the property. This includes shoveling the driveways and walkways so that people can gain access. You don't want anybody slipping on your property before they even get into the home. Now, during the warmer parts of the year, you want to make sure that you have the lawn maintained, with someone out there to cut the grass so that things aren't getting overgrown during the showings. Now, a few other things to keep note of is that some towns require you to register a property if it is vacant, and same thing with your insurance company. Some insurance companies require you to notify them if the property is going to be vacant over an extended period of time. And the reason this is important to know is that you may not be covered in the event that something happens and you hadn't actually notified them that the property was going to be vacant. So make sure you talk to your insurance company about that. Now, what about security? Well, there are ways to secure your property without actually being there. You've got all sorts of technologies that you can utilize, including the Ring doorbells. There's lots of exterior cameras that you can have two-way conversations with, also speakers, stuff like that. Utilities, you can have a digital or some sort of smart thermostat so that you can make sure that you're controlling the heat. But certainly none of this is going to be a replacement for not having somebody go and check on the property. So again, if you're selling a vacant property, you want to make sure you're checking on it every so often. Maybe even have a conversation with your neighbors. Perhaps they can, kind of check in for you every once in a while and let you know if they see any suspicious activity. Well, hopefully you found this information valuable. If you have any questions and want to discuss your real estate needs, go ahead and schedule a call with me on my website, HeSellsHouses.com, or text me anytime, 413-626-4097. Thanks.